Hello, hello, this is Caroline and welcome to the 5th episode of Project Ideas during Shelter at Home with your host, me, Caroline. Hey, so if you are on, please say hi in the comments field. I'll say hi back to you, and I'm looking forward to today's show. We've got a great lineup for you today, and let's get started here. I'm doing this live broadcast so that we can have some interactions while we are at home, hopefully healthy and safe. Personally, I'm really thankful to be at home where I feel safe. If you're sheltering at home, say hi. Or if you're not sheltering at home, say hi. If you're just watching, say hi. All right, before I get started, a couple of housekeeping items. I am not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV. And so I will not be giving out any medical advice. Please listen to your medical provider, your health provider for medical advice. I do this every Thursday at 3 o'clock my time, Eastern, and so I guess noon Pacific and 8 o'clock what I consider London time. All right, hi Walter from Germany. Hey, thanks for coming back. Woohoo! And this is a place of positivity. We are going to stay safe and healthy, and we're going to keep ourselves entertained at home while we're dealing with our COVID-19 crisis. And I'm here to stay positive for you. And there's lots of fun stuff to do at home. And last but not least, in housekeeping, please mute your device, your speaking devices, or just use headphones. Whatever is fine, but I can't edit out if I accidentally trigger your device. And I will say her name during this broadcast, I promise. So please, please, please mute your devices. All right, so agenda for today's broadcast is I'll give you an update on stuff I'm working on, what I'm doing at home to keep myself entertained, and then new items. We're gonna talk about Raspberry Pi. There's an advanced project and a more advanced project I'm going to share today. I'm going to talk about an Alexa/Wildcard. I would consider this intermediate level project, and then I will reveal next week's video. Now let's get started. Okay. Hi, Paul Dunn. Hey, thanks for joining. I assume everybody can hear me because I'm not getting the complaints about I can't hear you. All right, so next. All right, so this week I released a new video on Tuesday. It was called 5 More Ways to Secure Your Alexa Privacy. I'm not claiming to be a cybersecurity expert, but I think we do need to be vigilant about our cybersecurity, whether be it on Alexa, Google Home, our credit card, our personal information we share on the web, everything. All right, so please, 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 this is the time. The cyber criminals are working overtime during COVID-19, and I see so many reports every day, and it kills me every day. So please, please, please be careful. So this was the video I released this week, and at the end of this broadcast, I'll tell you what video I'm going to release next week. So that's kind of the inside information you get about for joining me on this show. Okay, next. Okay, so I am continuing to print face shields. I will not let this go. I will keep on printing face shield as long as I need to. I am now mostly printing in PETG, and I am mostly printing the Prusa face shield model. And I delivered my first 33 face shield frames to Atlanta Beats COVID this week. And so that was pretty exciting for me. Now for fun, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing now for fun. So I'm trying to get into gaming. So I've never really been a video gamer, but I've always kind of wanted to be a video gamer. So I've got a retro NES that I bought a long time ago. I play this game called Dr. Mario, something like that. On that game, I'm pretty bad at it, quite frankly. And I've tried that Super Mario Brothers. I'm really bad at that as well. And I'm thinking I'm going to use this time to get really good at video gaming on really old games. And then maybe I'll move up to, more modern games after that. I'm pretty terrible at these games. I don't know. And I keep on thinking I'm going to get better. But anyway, the other thing I broke out last week was my PlayStation 2. Now, if you've watched my how to make an Alexa video on my channel, I've published that a whole bunch of times in a whole bunch of different ways. You'll notice that I always talk into this little microphone, this little USB microphone. And where I got this from was because I used to play PlayStation 2. I used to play a game called let me get this out. This is really embarrassing for me, so I'm just sharing this with you guys, my subscribers. Karaoke Revolution on PlayStation 2. I still have this game. I have the whole series of these games, okay? Anyway, I enjoy playing that. I broke out my PlayStation 2 this week, and let's see, and my new TV did not have an RCA input, so I bought this little RCA converter, RCA to HDMI converter. I plugged that into my TV this week, and I can do 720p on this little guy with my PlayStation 2. So I am singing again, and I'm pretty bad at singing as well. And but I do enjoy Karaoke Revolution. Anyway, Hassan, good evening, Hassan. Thank you for joining us. All right, so that's what I'm doing in my spare time, trying to get good at retro gaming, and then maybe I'll move up to real gaming. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about Raspberry Pi. I'm going to talk about an advanced project on Raspberry Pi. Now, first, I'll tell you where I got this game from, or where I got this idea from. All right, so in honor of Earth Week, our friends at the Raspberry Pi Foundation, they put out a blog post, or they created a page on their website in celebrating our planet, and they actually have on this page, and I'm going to share this in the chat field here, and so you can follow along. There are actually 3 projects on this page, and I looked at all 3 projects. So the first project is considered a beginner level project, and essentially what it is you design a bug, like a ladybug kind of bug. You go and you use BlocksCAD, which is free, and then you design an insect of your choice, and then you can download it as an STL file, and then you can print it out on your 3D printer. So that was a really cool project, and I love that project. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, it's like a little factory in here. My 3D printer is here to print face shields or anything to do in the fight against COVID. So I couldn't do this project because I was really busy printing face shields at the time. So but anyway, this is a fun project, but I kind of hesitate to recommend it to you guys. I mean, obviously you're free to do it, and I'm sharing the URL right now, but because like if you don't have a 3D printer, it's kind of hard to get a 3D printer, right now. Because I see a lot of stuff selling out because we're all in this fight against COVID, and we're all trying to 3D print face shields right now. So anyway, that was a really cool, and they call that a beginner project. Then they've got an intermediate project, and it was predicting the next rainbow. This was really, really cute. But it required that you had a Sense hat. It required, so a Raspberry Pi and the Sense hat. So it required extra things, and it seems like it's kind of hard to get little products right now if you live in the US like I do. Amazon is delayed a lot of shipping, so I don't have a Sense hat, so I couldn't actually do this project. So anyway, check it out. But now let's move on to the project that I actually did do, which is the advanced level project, building an app about animals. Now this is really cool. You click on the YouTube video, and it's a code along. So there is somebody from Raspberry Pi. He goes through explaining everything, and then you just code along with him as you watch the video. And of course you can pause it if he goes a little fast, or you miss something, and then you make the app. And I did this on my computer. You don't actually need a Raspberry Pi to do this project, but it's really cool to do it on a Raspberry Pi. And let me show you me doing the project. So it's right here, and if you just kind of look in the top right corner here, there's a little button. You press the button, and it gives you a random image, and it gives you a subspecies of the gray wolf. So it tells you Mexican wolf, what it is in the picture, and a subspecies of the gray wolf. So it's random. So you just click it, and then yeah, there's a picture, and it tells you it's a Siberian tiger, and then gives you a little fun little fact about the Siberian tiger. And you've built like a little app. It's in Repl, and it's a great beginner's, in my opinion, I guess they call it an advanced project. It's a great little beginner project if you are trying to learn Python. It's just a few lines of Python code. So he goes over kind of the basics of Python, which I really like. He goes over the libraries that you import in Python. He goes over, how to pull a random thing out of a list. And then the list is actually over here. So there's animal list, California condor, Mexican wolf, Siberian tiger. So these are the animals that you have. And then there's a dictionary. And for California condor, there are 3 facts about it. So for every animal, there are 3 facts about it in there. So of course, you can build this out to whatever you want. You could make this into recipes. You could make this into artwork. You could make this into bicycles. Whatever your thing is, you can get, if you want the pictures are in here. So you put the pictures, and it has to correspond to the animals list. And you name it that name, and then you put down little facts about it, and it randomly picks from your list, okay, which is those 3 animals, and then it picks the picture, it pulls the corresponding picture, and then it randomly picks from the 3 facts you have about that animal, so I think that was really cool. And so it really taught you, definition, it taught you a lot of really cool things all in one very simple tutorial. So if you want to learn Python, I've heard Python is a great beginner language to learn. This is a great way to start on Python. So essentially you watch this little video right here. He gives you the, starter project here, which contains all of the animals, the animal pictures, and then you just code along with him, and then you hit run, and then you run the program. I thought that was really cool. So anyway, that is my first Raspberry Pi / Python / really you can do this on any computer. You don't need a Raspberry Pi for this thing that you could do at home and really just make it your own and really just have a lot of fun with it. Fun for the whole family. You could do one about your family. Have a picture of mom and dad, and it would randomly give you a fact about each person in your family. And I think this is a great way to entertain yourself while you're sheltering at home. So yeah, kudos to Raspberry Pi for putting this out this week. All right, so that is number 1 project. So now I'm going to go into a even more advanced project that I saw this week. And this was featured on both Raspberry Pi and it was featured on Paxter.io this week. This is really cool. Full disclosure, I have not done this project, nor am I planning to do this project just because I don't have all this stuff to do this project. And it is a Raspberry Pi Zero with a light on top, and basically you have to be on Microsoft Teams, and you know how you have different statuses on Microsoft Teams. It takes the status from Microsoft Teams and then outputs it to your Raspberry Pi, and then you put the Raspberry Pi with the light outside your door, and then your kids are supposed to respect what color it is. So if it's green, you can come on in. If it's red, ham in the middle of a meeting. Obviously, this could be more easily accomplished. You could hang a sign outside your door and do this, but hey, we're sheltering at home, so this is a fun project that's going to take a long time to do in order to do that. So let me share with you the URL for this project. And so this was published by Elo Struff, okay, and basically here's his thing, and he goes through all the hardware. You need a Raspberry Pi Zero W, a Unicorn P-hat, a P-hat diffuser, and if you don't want to solder it, you can buy a soldering kit for it. And this is what it looks like when you first assemble it. And then he goes through step by step, everything you need for it, all the software. He gives you the GitHub repository, everything. He is using Diet Pi, which is a lightweight Debian operating system. And so he goes through all the code for this. This is a very well thought out project, and I think it's cool. And so I encourage y'all to try it out. And if you do it, let me know. Let me know how it goes on this project. I would love to do this project. if I had all of this stuff to do it with. So maybe you have all this stuff to do it with. Anyway, so yeah, that is project number 2 of, oh wait, I forgot to change it over. Okay, here it is. Here's the sorry about that. I forgot to change it over, but hey, here's the website, and here is all of the information, the hardware, everything you need for this. So let's go back to the PowerPoint, and all right, here's my kind of Alexa / Wildcard idea for you guys this week, and it is to start a podcast. Yeah. So I mean, you've got a lot of information to share. You're an expert in a topic. Why not talk about it on a podcast? And specifically, I'm calling this an Alexa idea because I was thinking, okay, if you start this podcast, you can get your podcast on Alexa. And I have done precisely that. I did that actually, I think last year or even a year before that. And I'm going to kind of go through the steps that you need to start a podcast. So you need a podcast platform, number 1. And the one I recommend, I'm not compensated to recommend this, is Podbean. And Podbean, you get the first 5 hours free on Podbean. So sign up for, if you want to create a podcast, sign up for a Podbean account, first of all. And then the other thing you need to get started with a podcast is you need a square image, 1400 pixels by 1400 pixels. And you can create one in a software called canva.com, and it is free for most everything. So you can create an image on Canva, and I'm going to show you mine right now. So I created this last year or the year before, and it's called Caroline's Marketing Podcast. And then, so you do have to have a square image. And then after that, you can submit to Apple Podcasts, and you can be on, and that is the number 1 podcast platform. There are like 10 other ones that you can submit to, and I kind of have that somewhere buried on my channel. But the biggest bang for your buck is just to submit to podcastconnect.apple.com. I'll put that in the list here. And so after you do all of that, then you can get it on Alexa. Well, actually, technically, you just need to have a podcast, and you need to have an image. And then you can get it on Alexa. So let me show you what it looks like on Alexa. Alexa, play Caroline's podcast.
Welcome to Caroline Dunn's Marketing Podcast, where I share my insights and experiences in marketing. Now playing Caroline's podcast.
Welcome to another edition of Caroline's Marketing Podcast.
Alexa, stop. Okay. And so let me show you just real quick how I did that. I'm going to go, let's switch over to my Chrome. And so this is Canva. This is what Canva looks like. This is what my podcast looks like on Apple. And so what you need to do to get this on Alexa, you don't need to know any coding in order to do this. You do this through Blueprints. All right, so you just go into blueprints.amazon.com, share that link with you, and then you scroll all the way down, or you just look for where it is. For me, it's all the way closer to the bottom, and it is called University. You click on University, and you click on Make Your Own. And what you do is, the first thing you need is the link to your audio. So essentially, when you are in Podbean, your platform for your podcast, and you've recorded those, they will give you a link, a audio RSS URL that you'll need. You'll pop that in here, fill out everything. Boom, next thing you know, you are on Alexa. Is that cool or what? Now, there are actually 2 different ways you could do this. One is what I just showed you, which is, play Caroline's podcast. The other method is to make it a flash briefing, and I'll just go over that. So flash briefing, but unfortunately I haven't gone over what a flash briefing is, but it's something that you set up, and then you can just go, Alexa, play my flash briefing.
Caroline, here's what's new. From the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Alexa, stop. So anyway, you set this up for all of your new stuff, and it just reads all of it in a row, and it just only reads you all the new stuff. And it's called Flash Briefing. So for you guys who have Alexas at home, that is a feature you can take advantage of, and just say that every morning or once a day, and then you just get all the new stuff, and she'll just play it for you. So that's something you do set up in Alexa. So here is my podcast right here, so you can access that through the through alexa.amazon.com. And if you do want to go into Flash Briefings, I think you do that through settings. Let's see, hopefully I'm right here. And then communication, Flash Briefing is right here. And then you can turn on what you want to hear about. And you can even change the order of what you want to hear about. So anyway, this is how you get your Flash Briefing, and then every day you can say, give me my Flash Briefing, and it'll automatically just play anything that's new. So there was another little project all in one, is if you haven't set up Flash Briefings, go for it on Alexa. Yeah, okay. Anyway, all right, so let's switch back over to to my stuff here. Okay, so Flash Briefing University, and that's my idea. If you want to start a podcast, maybe now's the time to share your knowledge while you're sheltering at home. Oh, by the way, if you don't have like a professional microphone, which a lot of us don't have, to start a podcast, Podbean does have an app for iPhone, for Android, and you can plug in your headphones and then record your podcasts through your phone through the Podbean app. And that's the easiest way, in my opinion, if you want to start a podcast, to do that. Just get some headphones, use the Podbean app on your phone, record it, and then publish it. And I think that's pretty cool. So if you have any questions about podcasting, I don't know everything about podcasting, but let me know and ask the question. Yes. Any questions while I'm going through this, just let me know. All right, so here's my last idea I want to present to you guys, and this was super cool. This was published, I saw this on the blog for Alexa developers, and I would consider this like advanced, like kind of super advanced for us to do. It's more than just a hobby project, but the utility of this was amazing. Essentially, in Italy right now, there are long lines just to get into the grocery stores. So what they're doing is, because of social distancing, they're saying only X number of people can be in the grocery store at a time. So essentially, you go up to the grocery store and basically you wait in line and you wait for somebody to leave, before you can go in, because of COVID-19. And so underlying is this API that somebody has developed to say, I'm going to go to all these different grocery stores. And this is specific to Italy. There's probably one here in the U.S., or somebody is in the process of creating one here in the U.S., if nothing else. There is an underlying technology that somehow they figure out how long the queue is at your grocery store. And basically, there's probably an app or a website or something like that. You type in your area, or geolocates you through your computer, and then you look at the grocery stores in your area, and you look at how long the wait is at every grocery store before you leave your home to get your groceries. So that's the underlying technology, and it is an API call to do that. So what this project is taking that API call and marrying that with the location-based services of Alexa. And of course, it is an opt-in. Alexa cannot just share your information with a third party without your consent. I go through that in my other videos where I talk about managing your privacy with Alexa. So basically, you opt in to share your location with this third-party developer, and then it pulls the API based on your location. It tells you, based on the closest grocery stores, how long the queue is. And so let me show you Chrome view. Let's go over to the blog post here, and I'm gonna so that y'all can follow along if you want to see this on your own computer. This is a blog post. It was just published yesterday, I guess. And it is somebody in Italy, and basically they take that API, and then here is where on the back end as a developer, you ask for somebody's address. They opt into it. If they so choose to opt into it, then you take their location information, you hit that API, and that API, he goes through all the code of, okay, I've got the information, I've got your address, and then I hit that API and it tells me, here's the API response. So Italy, the wait's 25 minutes and the distance is 79 and the address is, I can't pronounce the second one, the wait's 75 minutes, and then Carrefour, the wait's 35 minutes, essentially. So that's what they have, and then he even did the show and the spot, and you can visually see 25 minutes to Italy, 79 meters. So he's just taken that API call, the return, and he has formatted it really nicely for Alexa. And that's really convenient, just to say, hey, okay, well, when's the next, how long's the wait now at the grocery store? Make a decision either if you're going to go, yes or no, and where's the shortest line, and how far away is that grocery store. So I think that's pretty innovative. I think that's really cool. And he shared all his code, or most of his code, here on this. So I think this is a sign of the times. I like it. Yeah. So that is my another cool project that I saw this week for Alexa. So let's go back to the my slides here. All right. Oh yes, and now it's the end of the show. Now I'm revealing next week's video. I'm going to talk about printing bias tape makers. So I am doing a quote-unquote series of 3D printing videos during this COVID-19 crisis. They are all going to be about how we can use our 3D printer in the fight against COVID-19. And basically, a lot of people, I used to have a sewing machine, I don't anymore. A lot of people are taking to sewing cloth masks. And something that they need in order to tie the mask around the back of the head is they need to make bias tape. You need a bias tape maker to do that. Of course, everything's in short supply right now, and there are literally thousands of people sewing these masks. So this is without the elastic. If you don't have elastic around the ears, you tie it behind your head, and you need a bias tape maker. You can do it by hand. It takes forever. So this speeds up production. And we have delivered, I would say, over 200 as a group for Atlanta Beats COVID to the sewing masks group for Atlanta to help them make masks. So masks for Atlanta. So anyway, that's my video for next week. So I go through how you find the file, my Cura settings, how to go through the whole process. This is something I print in PLA. So if you have PLA, you're good to go on this one. Anyway, so that is my project for this week. All right, y'all are quiet this week. All right, any questions before I go? I'm about to sign off here. So anyway, so we are at the end of the show. Please, make comments on my channel during the week if you have any questions. But before I close every show by saying I encourage you to stay safe and healthy during this global pandemic. My heart goes out to everybody working the front lines, medical personnel, first responders, grocery store workers, sanitation workers, everybody making deliveries, putting their life on the line for me. Thank you very much for this. All right, Walter says, bye Caroline, see you next week. All right, thank you Walter for joining us today. All right, I am signing off now. Thank you for watching today, and stay safe. Bye now.